everybody, and welcome to the Punchboard Report. My name is Blake Reiner. Today, we're looking at Blue Lagoon. This was designed by Dr. Reiner Knizia, published in 2018 by Blue Orange Games. Now, this game is kind of a retake on an older Reiner Knizia game called Through the Desert. And in that game, you were placing camels on a board and kind of creating this long caravan to essentially connect to different palm trees and oases and, kind of cordon off areas of the board such that no one else can get to them. This game has similar elements of that, where you're going to be laying down these string or this chain of explorers or settlers, and you're trying to basically connect to different islands and gather resources in the process. So tell you what, this is kind of like a more streamlined version, I would say, than Through the Desert, but you can decide for yourself. Let's get this set up on the table, and we'll be back after that for some thoughts. All right, now this is Blue Lagoon, and we are set up for 4 players. And at the beginning of the game, when you're setting up, you're going to take all these tokens and put them in this cloth bag, and you're going to shake them up, and then you're going to put them out randomly on these designated spots that you see here. You have these resource tokens, which are bamboo and water and coconut and precious stones. Those are the resources. And you also have these, which are called statuettes, these brown tokens, and they'll go in the bag as well. Shake them all up, place them on the board. Now, what we're doing in this game, it's quite simple. We're going to be placing these tokens on the board as well as these tents on the board, which functionally are almost identical. They serve a slightly different purpose, which I'll get to. However, we're going to place them on the board. We're going to be collecting these resources, and we're going to be trying to get onto as many islands as possible and connecting them as well. So, after that happens, once all the different resources have been claimed, and again, resources are these 4, it does not include these statuettes. Once all the resources have been claimed or all the tokens have been placed on the board, then we're going to do a scoring, and then we are going to play an almost identical second round as well, and then we'll do another scoring, and that'll be the end of the game. So, how do we actually play? On your turn, you are going to take a tile and place it anywhere you want, as long as you abide by the following rules. First, if you want to place in the water, you could do that anywhere you want. So you will place your guy on the little surfer dude side up, and you can place it anywhere in the water. So let's say I place it there. Then my opponents would go, and then it gets back to me. Now, again, I can place again anywhere I want in the water, or you can place on the land as long as it is adjacent to a tile of yours that is already on the board. So now that I have this one in the water, I can now theoretically place here, here, or here. So let's say I place here. I do that, I will take this token into my possession, and then my opponents would go, and so on and so forth, and it gets back to me. And now these tiles, these land tiles are also, these land hexes are now also available to me, because again, when you place on land, it must be adjacent to one of your existing tiles. So theoretically, I could place there, or I theoretically could place there, or I can also place anywhere else I want in the water. So we're going to keep doing that, and I can also theoretically place these, which are your tents, and these, like I said, are almost functionally identical, so I could theoretically place it here if I wanted to, and then I could then, on my following turn, place here, and again, claim that resource. So, what are we actually doing? Let me show you what this looks like when everything is claimed, and then that will make more sense when we get to a scoring. So, after the first round, the board may look like this. And now we will do a scoring. And like I said, the round will end when all the resources are taken, so statuettes still on the board is fine. Now the game comes with a scoring pad that you can use to walk through the different scoring metrics, which I will show you right now. So first and foremost is number of islands that you have made it on. So if we're scoring purple or pink, whatever color this is, so you will see they are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 8 islands. The only island they are not on is this one. So that will be worth 10 points, but if they got on all 8, that will be worth 20 points. Then you are going to look for your longest contiguous chain, and you are going to score 5 points per island that it connects. So if we're looking at orange, they're on 1, 2, 3, I only see 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are connecting these 5 islands in an uncontiguous fashion. In a contiguous fashion, I should say. They missed that one. That would have made it 6. So that one string is connecting 5 of them, and you will get 5 points per island. So if orange is scoring that metric, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then they will score 25 points for that. You're also going to get points for majorities on each of the islands. So you see these numbers here, 8 points, 10 points, 6 points, 8 points, and so on and so forth. You are simply going to count the number of markers you have in your color, and then whoever has the majority will win those points. So in this case, for this 8-point island, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for purple, for yellow, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for pink/purple. In this instance, it is tied, so they would get 4 points each. You simply split the points. However, if one person won that outright, they would get the full 8 points, and you do that for each of the islands. Next, you have these resource tokens that you have collected throughout the course of the game. For each pair of resources, you will get 5 points. For a group of 3 of them, you will get 10 points. And if you have a set of 4 of one type of resource, you will get 20 points. So you'll be looking for like groupings as well. Beyond that, you will also get 10 points if you have at least one of each resource. It is not 10 points per set. It is simply if you have one of each resource when you are doing the scoring, you will then get 10 points as well. And last but not least, you will get 4 points per statuette. So you will then score those. Those are the scoring categories. So everyone is going to score those categories, and you're going to enter your score on this nice little score pad. And then you are going to clear the board off of all the different settlers, but you are going to leave these tent tokens on the board. And now you will play, after you do that, you will play a second round, essentially the exact same way, except when you are placing a piece, now everything must automatically, by default, be connected. So you can no longer just place a piece in the water for free. You can place a piece in the water as long as it is adjacent to a piece. And like I said, we are going to start the game with only your tents on the board. So it behooves you in the first round to place the tents in strategic spots because that is going to represent your jump-off points for the second round. And then the game is going to be played the exact same way other than that one little factor that everything needs to be connected. So you always need to start adjacent to one of the tents you have on the board and then sprawl out from there. And then you're going to place all the resource tokens back into that cloth bag. You're going to put them again on these spots, and then you will repeat. If you placed one of your tents on these spots, it will get removed. So if I had that on the board in the first round, when I'm clearing this off, I have to remove that because a resource needs to go there. So you never want to place your tents on those spaces. And that's the game. You will play again a second round, and then you will score it the exact same way. You add up your scores from the first and second rounds, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Okay, so that was Blue Lagoon. So let's talk about it. If you've played through the desert, undoubtedly you can recognize how these games are similar and how this is kind of an evolution of Through the Desert. Personally, though, I kind of view this game as a more streamlined and more easier point of entry in comparison to Through the Desert. I can play this game, I think, with my nieces. The box says ages 8 and up, and I believe it. I think I can teach an 8-year-old this game. I looked a short while ago. I have Through the Desert as well. That one said 14 and up. I think 14 is probably... I think you can teach people that are younger than 14 that game as well. But that said, I feel like this game probably has an easier entry point because sometimes I've actually struggled in the past to explain, Through the Desert to newcomers to gaming because, some of the rules are a little bit fiddly and whatnot. Here, none of that. I've taught this game to complete non-gamers and they've really enjoyed it. This is a game where turns are fast. It's one of those games where you put a piece down, boom, 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 and it's right back to me, which is nice. There's not a lot of downtime. And that's also really good for new gamers when you want to just pull them into the hobby and such. Not a lot of downtime, a lot of action, which is very cool. This is a game that is not going to have a lot of variety from game to game. So just be mindful of that. There's nothing really changing from game to game other than, where you're putting the resources as well as who you're playing with. That's where the real variety is going to come from. If you're playing with a more cutthroat group or a group that's not necessarily getting in people's faces, that's what's going to change this game from game to game. So just be mindful if you're looking for an experience that changes from game to game, it's really going to come from who you're playing with, who you're gaming with. Other than that, I would say that the interaction in this game is solid. So it might not come across that way, but there's definitely a good amount of interaction because ultimately you're trying to figure out, what's he going for? What's she going for? Is she going to get to that spot before I do? Because this game is all about blocking an area majority. So I'm trying to figure out how many tokens are they going to have on this island? Do I need to, if they're going on this island and they just beat me, now I have to put a token on the island to maintain my positioning in terms of being the majority holder on that island. But I was planning on using this piece to pick up another piece for my set or go into another island or connect these two islands. So now you have to decide, is it worth it for me to actually keep the majority or do I now have to, or is it better for me to connect those islands? It has some good interaction because you're definitely influenced by what other people are doing and being mindful of what they're going for. So there is interaction in this game and it's good interaction. That's what really creates the tension. So on the flip side, that's also a thing I want to point out, is that for 2 players, while you can play this game 2 players, I think you really lose that interaction. You still have it a little bit, but not really, because the board is a lot more open, there's a lot less blocking, it's a lot more easy to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And the 3 to 4 player variant, especially 4, that's when the board is crowded, and that's when people get in each other's faces, and that's what makes this game, in my opinion, tense and good. You have to be willing in this game to get into each other's faces. Kind of. Like, if you're going to play this game and just kind of be like, I'm going to do my thing, you do your thing, you're probably not getting a lot out of this game, or maybe you like it, I don't know. But, the game really shines when people are, trying to outmaneuver each other and outposition each other, and that's where that area control game is. You're trying to control different areas of the board and maintain your positioning relative to other people. So, listen, overall, solid game. If you liked Through the Desert and you are craving a more streamlined experience or just want a refresh of a similar mechanic but with some new mechanisms, very cool package in that vein. So overall, if this sounded interesting to you, check it out, and thank you for watching. My name is Blake Reiner.